Welcome everyone to the Wheels Museum. We're so happy you're here with us. We wish you were here in person and we hope you will be soon. And we have a very special guest with us today. This is Richard Pytel. We became friends a long time ago when you...
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, thanks. He has to make sure that's
Handful
true.
of years ago, okay.
A few years ago. And he's a fabulous volunteer at the Wheels Museum and really a great supporter. And today he has a very special subject about which he wishes to speak. One day I had the idea, a long time ago, to do a little project, using little in quotes, and he said, hey, I think it's a good idea, or I'm not sure if you said it's a good idea, but you're doing it. So,
You definitely introduced it to me early in our relationship.
that's right,
That's
right.
for sure.
That's right, and I'm so grateful to get serious, I'm so grateful because the project that he has in mind will really change the rail yards, change Albuquerque, and bring tourism and culture and economic development and be very inspiring and fun for people of all ages. So please tell us what you are working on.
Okay. The project she gave me was what we'll call the New Mexico Model Railroad Center. Model railroads are a big attraction here at the Wheels Museum. Not only is there the fun element to it, of course, but extremely educational as well. It's our way to help teach kids what the railroads did and what they carried and how they operated and so on. So our project is to take two of the buildings that are adjacent to the Wheels Museum, right over there. They're the old Babbitt and welding shop. These buildings were built in 1921 and 22, so they are a century old, and put life back into them. And what we're going to do is hopefully restore the structures and then populate them with model railroads. And those will be done in cooperation with the local model railroad clubs and the statewide ones as well. One of the things New Mexico does not have is a railroad museum, and so this will be perhaps one close representation of doing that. Admittedly, again, we'll be doing model railroads, but we're also going to try and teach the visitors there some of the history of the railroads here in New Mexico, which span from 1880, when the Santa Fe first came here to Albuquerque, to the present day, where we see these very large trains run by BNSF, the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, and say the Union Pacific as well. So that's the goal. It's about 5,000 square foot space. We think the budget is going to be about $5 million. Happily, the state legislature has given us money to begin the planning and preparation, further budgeting as well, and to put together a plan, working with an architect, getting some artist renditions as well, and then we'll go back to the state legislature for additional funding to do the project. But I'm really excited about it. The buildings are ideal. There are no columns inside of it. It has these large windows. It has remnants of what the structures were in there as well. For instance, through the middle of the Babbitt shop, there are tracks inside where parts were brought in and out to go ahead and be worked on as well. So we want to not only have the railroad center put in place there, but we want to teach a little bit about the legacy of the men who worked here at the railroads, and specifically what they did in those two shops. So again, really excited to do it. I spent a lot of time in those buildings. I always see something new in there. That's something that surprises me occasionally. And so again, really excited to do it. I've been imagining for a long time now, ever since she gave me this project, what I would like it to look like here. And so I would love to come and have it complete finished, get it executed. Funny thing, we just had a young boy come in here with his parents, and he immediately latched onto a little train set we had on the front table. And one of the things I like to talk about, especially with kids, they go railroad mad, for lack of a better way to describe it. I call it the point or whatever. And he didn't want to give up the little plastic cards that he was playing with. And his parents explained to me that every night he plays with his railroad cars, and then he doesn't want to go back to bed. And he's our future customer. And he's the kind of person that we would love, our customer, really guest, our future guest, for that as well. But of course, he came with parents. We had some other youngsters in here come in with parents and grandparents. Those people also are our target guests for the Model Railroad Center. And again, I'm really excited about the project. I hope we get the funding soon. I would love to see work done on this sooner rather than later. And again, a really fun thing to do. I think it will help the Wheels Museum, and it will help Albuquerque as well. We are also adjacent to the rail trail, so adding exhibitions or attractions here, I think, really helps. And as I said before, we don't have a railroad museum here. We do have some model railroad clubs that operate, but it would be really great to get them here on the rail yards, on our historic rail yards.
I'm so grateful to you. And what humbly Richard did not tell you, he took it upon himself to clean the entire building. I mean, he has really put in a great deal of work on this philosophically and technically and dirt-wise. So
Yes,
really
I
great.
did.
Yeah. And
Just the follow up on that. The reason why we did have to clean it, we have a group from Central New Mexico Community College that is going and using drones and cameras and LiDAR to document the building, interior and exterior. And the plan is to have a product that we could go ahead and show an architect, the two-dimensional drawings and other pictures and that, to help with the planning of what we're doing. And we're also working with the University of New Mexico, UNM. They have a group that also deals with and has done a project with our fire station, firehouse here at the rail yards as well, where they documented all the various things structurally that needed to be done, but also gave us a vision of what they would like to do with the firehouse. And we would love to have the students at UNM, younger eyes, fresher eyes, outside the box eyes, shall we say, come in and give us a vision of something that perhaps we didn't imagine we could do with it, to make it a place to make it really attractive to our guests here at the Wheels Museum.
Richard is so great with dealing with the children and all the families. He's a font of knowledge about history. And when he talks about young people learning the trade, let us say,
Yeah.
we have had many children that we have mentored who have actually become train engineers and train conductors who love this so much, and you know, they're building our country. And so this is, as you say, not just for fun, but it's very educational, and they do fall in love with it, and it's fascinating. And we are continually changing our model railroad exhibits here in the building, but because we're out of space and we have wonderful donations and wonderful help and wonderful exhibits, we are trying to get that extra 5,000 feet. And we are also hoping that someone might be interested in being a sponsor, or several people, and having naming rights to the building. So as he says, we'll go to the legislature. We're looking for corporations and others who might understand the purpose of what we are trying to do to inspire youth, have a wholesome place for children to come with grandparents, as you say, come on the rail trail, come into the rail yards, and other train museums like this. A friend just showed me one in Colorado where they're getting thousands and thousands of people to come. And we do that too, but we want to do more for our society and our community. So if you're interested in this project, please come and help us.
Yeah, these are important industrial monuments, I think. I'm borrowing that phrase, but I thought it was really appropriate here because they were so important to going ahead and putting life into New Mexico's economy and moving people across the state, or helping develop some of the industries that were here as well. I mean, it really revolutionized things here in New Mexico, and I think it's to be celebrated, certainly. And so, like I said, we've got these wonderful, massive, intriguing, interesting monuments here that I think would be great if we put life back into them. I've had people here who have looked at the buildings in a certain awe and splendor as well. And certainly, if you walk inside of them, they are really pretty breathtaking. The Babbitt welding shop, perhaps not much so, but they have their own appeals to it. I had a couple reporters go into them, and they took scores of photographs. They were just so impressed with the interior architecture and the lighting. It was a sort of a late in the day type situation. So yeah, again, this speaks to my excitement. I think it'll be a great project. I think it'll be a big asset for the Wheels Museum if we do it.
Thank you.
And I think we'll attract even more people to our location here on the Albuquerque Rail Yards.
And also Richard is an N-gauge expert. So we have various volunteers who handle various gauges of railroad, and
Yeah.
I know you can do many of them. But I think N is one of your favorites, and you even have
It
one
is.
at home.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
I have one at
yeah.
home. It was based on dare from my sister-in-law, basically. What it came down to, you know, can you build one of those? Sure, I can build one of those. And so off it went. But we talk about railroads and history and whatnot, but there's family history as well for my wife's family. Her grandfather was a major player in the Arizona citrus market. And so the Santa Fe Railroad and the Southern Pacific to some degree would move up to 12, 13, 14, even up to 1,500 cars worth of citrus products that were grown in and around the Phoenix area to the market out east. And conversely, years earlier, after the Roosevelt Dam was built in Arizona, they were met by railroad agents in Newton, Kansas, where they were living, and they were told, there is all this arable land here in the Phoenix area. Would you like to come out? So they got onto a train provided by the Santa Fe, free ticket, a migrant train is what it was called, and moved from Newton, Kansas out to the Phoenix area. Started a farm there, and Reuben Hess, which was my wife's grandfather's name, went to the University of Arizona, learned business and agriculture, and became one of the major players in the Arizona citrus business. So a train brought him and his family to Arizona, and then trains moved out the produce that he helped produce to the markets out east as well. So that's just one story, and I think one of the things that's really interesting at Wheels, one of the fun things, besides working with the kids and feeding off their energy, is that people love to share stories with us.
Yes.
And I find people's stories to be valuable, incredibly valuable, and I'm always very pleased when they want to share them. And of course it talks about maybe a grandparent who worked on the Illinois. A gentleman told me that story just recently. Or someone was telling me a story about this helmet that was back here for a soapbox derby racer. And he remembered that from his grandfather as well. But the stories are precious for people who have lived here or gone to the Zeta Alvarado Hotel when they were younger, or had a relative who worked here. Leba and I can relate. We just had a gentleman that we were talking to a few days ago. His grandfather worked here at the yards. He was a tinsmith as well.
Yes, a tinsmith, yeah.
And at that time when he was there, he was here in 1900. And it wasn't the most well-paid job in the world.
Right.
And in fact, the working conditions weren't that great either.
That's right.
But he told us a story about him, and happily we have records here through the census there. We were able to look him up, and there he was.
So it was fascinating. It
So-
became a very prominent Albuquerque, New Mexico family.
Yeah.
All attorneys, and I think that's what happened with so many.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started small, smarted my family too, and then became professional people. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I think
But
it's
yeah.
part of the story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so many of the original families are still here, and we get a lot of tears and a lot of laughter in here because people do
Yeah.
remember the importance of the work that their families have done to make it a city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the kind of thing I think that helps motivate me even more to get this project done. And of course we're doing our part to do it, and we'll be working in with the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico State Legislature, and like I said, we'll be probably looking for private funding as well to
Yes. Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
money that we think we're going to need to do it, to go ahead and do this project. So.
And if you have any ideas or you have a contribution to make of train cars or layouts or money or anything that you have in mind or stories, we are here to work with you and make this happen. I
Right.
cannot thank you enough. You have been
Thank you.
so strong in this. It has not been an easy project to make happen. And it's still not easy to make happen, but we're gonna make it happen.
It'll get there.
It'll get there
Okay.
because we don't give up.
Well,
We don't give up, that's
yeah.
all, we just keep on, we know what this is right and we keep on working
Yeah,
for it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, thank
yeah.
you for saying that.
Oh, I'm
It's
so
great.
thrilled
It's
to
my pleasure.
thrilled to be working with you and his wife also. I think it's the only husband and wife team we have here at Wheels. Mostly the men get away from the wife goes, but Becca his wife is an incredible person who is running our gift shop, and she's a designer and a program manager
Yeah.
and has done many things and a lot of fun. So we're
Yeah.
thrilled that you're both here and.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the original whole idea was get me out of the house so she would have it by herself.
came
But
to-
now once a week she's with me working in it as well. So that
Yeah.
plan's backfired just a little bit.
That's cute. We're happy to have everybody here, and we're so grateful, so grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have a very exciting event coming up, and Richard's involved in it, and he'd like to tell you.
Yes.
I'd like him to tell you about that.
I am excited. The Santa Fe Railroad Historical and Modeling Society, I always get that wrong, is coming here to Albuquerque June 28th, 29th, and 30th. They have some events beforehand as well. This is the premier organization that follows the history of the Santa Fe Railroad. I know they're really excited to come here to Albuquerque. We'll be working with them as well as the folks from the 2926 train doing it. They have an excellent lineup of presentations that they're going to do about the railroad here in New Mexico, and I would encourage everyone to look at their website. If you're going to come here, I absolutely recommend going to the convention as well. Like I said, it's a really dedicated, deeply knowledgeable group of people about the railroad, and even if you have just the most casual interest in it, I would still recommend and go. I think most people will really enjoy it.
Thank you very much, and for being part of all this
Yeah.
and masterminding so much of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much. I'm very honored to be able to tell you that this week we received for Wheels Museum the 2024 Nonprofit of the Year Award from Albuquerque Business First, Newsenda, and Thornburg. And I was invited to come to a presentation. I gave a brief presentation about Wheels Museum in front of about 200 people this week. They gave a beautiful luncheon, a beautiful event. So this is a thrilling thing for us, and I hope exemplifies the work that we've done for 30 years to try to help our community. We'll put it on display and hope that everyone would like to come and just look at this very beautiful award that we received. It means a great deal to us. So thank you for letting me brag about that. We have, Richard told you about one event. On that same weekend, at the end of April, 25th, 26th, and 27th, is the State History Convention at Explore. We're going to be part of that. We're also going to do tours at Wheels Museum at that time on Saturday. So if you're interested in that, give us a call at 243-6269, and we'll tell you all about that wonderful conference about New Mexico history, where we will have a booth. I'm also very happy to tell you again that Ronn Perea is going to speak to us on April 13th about the Bataan Death March. And I'm hoping that you'll all come. That's at 11 o'clock in the morning. Anyone who has any family that survived that, or relatives of survivors of that horrific event, we'd like to be together and we'd like to talk about that. Also, on April 27th, the Balloon Museum is going to give us a presentation with a very famous balloon pilot, and that'll be a surprise who that is. But we hope you'll come and learn how to fly a balloon, because that's something I don't know how to do, and that's at noon on that day. On May 18th, we're going to have a speech about the atomic bomb that landed in Albuquerque by Roland Pentilla. He's a fabulous speaker, former city employee. He's given many presentations, and people love to come and hear him. And that's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on May 18th. So just let us know if you would like to come. On the 25th of May at 10 a.m., we have Fred Friedman coming. He was a former head of state transit. He's going to come as a guest of the Chinese American Association to talk about the Chinese contribution to the railroad. And they are so kind, and they usually bring food, and this time they are bringing Chinese folk dancers. So it's going to be a very special event at 10 a.m. on May 25th. On June 1st, we have Doug Figgs coming to play music for us at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's a $10 event. He's wonderful. Everybody loves him. He brings his dog Badger with him. He's an adorable dachshund, and Badger walks around. You can hold him and pet him, and he's a precious doggy. On June 15th, we're going to have another speech by Ronn Perea talking about historic Route 66, and that will be very, very interesting and very important. Again, Route 66 is one of our great exhibits here. We're about Route 66, Camino Real, of course the railroad, the airport, everything about transportation that made our community what it is today. On July 20th, I'm going a little bit ahead, Steve Cormier is coming at 12 o'clock. He's a very famous country western singer. That's a $10 event, so if you want to hear him perform, that's at noon. On August 10th, we have a very interesting event. Phil and Rosanna Archuleta, who've written several books about New Mexico markers, or historic markers, are going to come and talk to us. We're not sure of the time. I think it's going to be at noon, but that's going to be a wonderful, interesting. When you go drive down the road and you see those markers, well, they've cataloged all of those, and they're going to talk to us. And then on August 18th, we have another nationally famous country western singer, Joel Alden White, coming at 2 p.m. to perform. So many things are coming up at Wheels. If you want to have a birthday party here, we do a lot of those, all kinds of events, tours, presentations. We had a great honor the other day. East San Jose School called, and they are forming their curriculum around the Wheels Museum and transportation, and there are other schools that are doing that as well. We had a school from Cuba. I just had a school from another part of the state call me. People are coming in from all over New Mexico to see the rail history, the auto history, the airplane history, and what we are saving in terms of the people who made that all happen. So we did Dolores Gonzalez School came the other day. They had 40 children, and I asked them, what was your favorite thing here? And they all raised their hands and they said everything. So I hope you'll come and you'll see everything that we have and enjoy. There's no charge to come to the museum if you're just a family or a person. We do sometimes we have to charge groups, but it's a very minimal fee. So please come and see us. We're at 1100 South 2nd on the rail yards at the south end of the rail yards. We're open Monday through Thursday 9 to 12, Saturdays 10 to 2, and from all summer, from May through October, we're open on Sundays as well when the market's open 10 to 2. So thank you very, very much.